I go live, mate. Anyway, so I know you're strapped in, mate. You're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Carlos, is that
Carl.
Carlos? Yeah, we'll say hello to everybody on live. All right. I think we are live. Awesome. Yes, we are. So, hello, everybody. We've oh, hang on. I'm just going to let Jennifer in as well. Jennifer's just joining us. Just going to get this. And so many screens. Hey, Jennifer. So, welcome to our live today. So we've got a few people here. Carlos, as always, Carlos managing Facebook and all the good things. We've got Emily here today in New Zealand. Hey, Emily.
Hello.
Heidi, you're in New Zealand as well, are you, Heidi? Yes. And Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, whereabouts are you in the world?
All right, I'm in the Philippines.
Oh, cool. Very cool. And we've got Ryan today. Ryan, super special guest from Growthable, mate. Thank you for coming along. Very excited. We've got a few things to talk about. So, mate, I actually listened last night to one of your podcasts, what you've learned from 10,000 hours of onboarding,
Right.
which I
Yeah.
thought was pretty amazing. So, just quickly, if anyone doesn't know Ryan, you should. But he runs a white label support service for high level called Growthable. We're a client of Growthable. You've got like basically a knowledge base, ticketing, got live 24/7 support agents on the ball, basically, and you do onboarding for clients, and you also sort of do first level support for a few other cool tools as well. So, Ryan, would you like to? You can do probably a better job of describing what Growthable is about and why you came about and how you help and serve people. And then I think it'd be really cool to have a bit of a chat about what you guys do, and then what you see in agencies that work really well. And if anyone's watching this live on Facebook, if you've got any questions for Ryan, if you want to pop them in the chat, Carlos, if you can keep an eye on that, mate, that would be awesome. If there are any questions that come in, and we'll pose them to Ryan and put him on the spot.
Nice. I like it. I like being on the spot. It's good.
I know you're good at it. You're good at it. So tell us, mate. Tell us all about Growthable.
Yes. Well, good morning, everyone. Heidi, I don't think we've met before. But anyway, so yeah. Where are we live, by the way? Are we live on Facebook, YouTube? Where are we at?
Just on the faces, mate. I think.
Faces. Okay. So Growthable, yeah. So I guess my experience as an agency was probably very similar to a lot of agencies in their discovery of the high level tool, platform, whatever you want to call it. I consider it a platform. And the reason I consider it a platform is that generally with platforms, it's like the economic output of the ecosystem generally tends to be much greater than what the platform itself can make, right? So I think that's pretty much the case when you look at like high level. Like they haven't built something that goes direct to the consumer, and all their clients are all the small businesses in the world. You know, they build a platform so that the middlemen, the people that can actually bring that technology and solutions to those small businesses and have that reach, is like marketing agencies and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. So I think marketing agencies, if you look sort of pile up all their revenue, it'd be much bigger than high levels revenue, right? And so the ecosystem is bigger than the platform itself, which is really cool, really exciting. So that's like one of the biggest draw cards for me, is the fact that they do that in the first place. And so then, you know, we were looking for ways to consolidate a bunch of ways to consolidate like a bunch of like reporting and analytics and all this sort of stuff, because we were using so many different tools. And so yeah, we made the switch. We went to high level as an agency. And essentially then, as soon as I sort of started playing around with it, I sort of became pretty obsessed with it and started helping people and making YouTube videos. And so that you get a lot of comments on YouTube like, hey, Ryan, thanks for the video. How'd you do that? And then that turned into quite a significant like number of hours I would spend on a daily basis, just like helping other agency owners out. You know, here's how I did this automation and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, sort of took that, and I was like, you know, also trying to kind of battle it out with some of the top affiliates at the time. And I was sort of thinking to myself, what is it that I enjoy doing that would give me some sort of leverage over and above these other affiliates. It was pure sort of like greed at the time, like just trying to make some affiliate revenue. And I thought to myself, like, if I had other stuff that I could add value to that wasn't software, right? It was like a service layer that I could add value. Then my affiliate offer would be really valuable. Anyway, so sort of fast forward to today, it's like it's a legitimate business. Do you know what I mean? Way more legitimate than I could ever have like hoped for, to be honest. Like we've got heaps of employees and proper payroll systems and all those boring things that comes with being a real company, right?
So much fun. People managing all the teams.
Yeah, all that stuff. But it was just born out of like pure, like I was like, do a video, get response. Okay, I'll have to spend another hour talking to that person. And then, I'd do a Facebook post and be like, here's something else I built. And then you get people talking to you about that. And so it was just purely like, how do I sort of commercialize the stuff that I enjoy doing on a day-to-day basis? And then, so I was like, all right, well, let's just offer support as a service, right? And so even when it was just me, this is going back quite a bit now, but even when it was just me and one other guy, we were offering 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support. So that was pretty ambitious considering there was just two of us.
How did you manage that? I didn't know that.
I worked a lot of hours.
Yeah. A lot of coffee?
He worked 12 hours, I worked 12 hours, and we kind of made it work, and I'd have like this alarm that would go off that told me that there was a chat waiting, and so if I was asleep or he was asleep or whatever, like we'd be like, meh, meh, ringing in your face, and you'd go and answer the technical query, do you know what I mean? And so like it was all bootstrapped from the word go, right? So
Yeah.
anyway, so that was that. Like I just wanted to interview Sean and talk to all the other high level agencies and see what automations they're building and how we can help them, and basically how to help people at scale, right? So
Sorry, Heidi's laughing in the comments.
I know,
it's worse than a newborn feeding. It's exactly like that. If anyone, I don't know who's got kids on here or who hasn't, but like, yeah, if you've been through that with newborn feeding, it's just like, oh my days. Nobody explained to me, to completely off topic, nobody explained to me when we took our son home from the hospital, you had to feed them every 3 hours, but that's every 3 hours from when you start feeding them to the next time. And I thought it was like, well, when they finish feeding, you start 3 hours later. And they're like, no. But it takes an hour to feed and change. So basically you've got like maybe 2 hours if you're lucky. So
yeah.
Anyway, digression. Sorry, mate.
No, it's a good digression because you're making me like every time I think about newborn feeding, I think about myself swinging my daughter around in a circle, kind of very kind of aggressively to get her to go to sleep. And that was in the middle of summer, and I'm sweating and like trying to doing what Heidi's doing right now. Probably more aggressively than that, to be honest.
Right. Good times. But then, but now you've got a technical baby instead.
Yeah. That was when I didn't have any gray in my beard or my hair or anything like that, and all of a sudden, technical baby now is definitely, I think, Growthable takes up most of my time. I still have an agency and I'm still launching like different brands off of that agency. But Growthable is definitely like the most time intensive sort of big thing that I have. And yeah, so to sort of sum up, I suppose like all the things that we do now is, like part of just having lots and lots of conversations on behalf of my clients, i.e. you, Gary, and, even Emily on here as a client, to be honest. But, so there's hundreds of thousands now of end users that we serve like every single day, which is really cool to watch, right? And so we kind of get to see all the data come through about like what questions are being asked and, how fast someone on my team can like resolve that, and, the satisfaction ratings and all that. So it's like, become like a customer experience company. Customer success is what we call what we do, but customer experience is like what Zendesk and all those types of companies call what they do. So it really is like, about like giving, your users, like these are, when you're going down the path of giving the user the software and saying like, you're on your own without support, of course, but you're on your own. Like they become a user that needs support. They don't become a client that needs an outcome or a client that needs a service delivered. Like they have to go in there and achieve the job, achieve the result, I guess, themselves. And so they need support, right? And so it's a completely different experience. How you actually interact with supports, like, hey, I've got a question about this. If you can't solve it, how do you solve it? How do you actually make sure that it gets escalated to the right people with the right skill sets to go to resolution? And so there's so much that goes into that, I mean, you guys, as a bunch of people on this call that can appreciate that, but I don't think a lot of agency owners appreciate when you switch, like how much effort goes into just having conversations with people, making sure that they actually get through to a results, right? So it's like, hey, this thing's broken, can't figure it out right now. That thing still needs to be fixed among the other 1,000 things that needs to be fixed, right? And so building that infrastructure, honestly, was probably like one of the biggest challenges I have ever undertaken in business.
Well, I think it's huge, and I don't think it should be underestimated at all, because I think some of the things you've just covered there about, like, just getting Growthable running and what you had to do for that, and we've all been there, or we've been through that phase, or we're in that phase, or whatever it might be for the people that are listening. It's like there's just some grind you have to do to get through stuff anyway, no matter where you are. And then because you've gone through all that, and then you've built everything now with Growthable, and that's why I like working with you, because you're very honest and raw about kind of the sort of things, and what you'll do, what you can do, what you can't do. And you've been through all those things as well, so it's a really good conversation that we had when we came aboard with Growthable. And like helping agency owners through that grind at the end of the day, because um, there's certain things that even if they've got someone on there 24/7 that you can direct clients to and say, hey, use our chat widget, so that they don't have to have an alarm going off like like Ryan, to answer that, and even if that's just the, and I'm sure you've got some examples of this, right? But we see them, and support tickets in different things. Like, we've got a couple of different softwares. We've got myCRMSIM. We have another software program. We've got clients on the high level platform, and support tickets that you get from clients are sometimes you can't actually help them, because they just say, I've logged into this and I get an error.
Yeah.
You're like, okay. So a good part of support, and where growth will, I think, really help as well, is just that first layer to kind of go, all right, well, where are you logged into? What is the error that you're seeing? What is the outcome you're trying to achieve? So that even you can take that part away from an agency owner, because even if you can't resolve it for them, you can then come back to the agency, hey, your client is trying to do this with your custom snapshot and they're not able to, and the error that they're seeing is this. We think that you need to update the webhook here. Can you do that on your end to fix it for your agency? And then the agency go, oh yeah, cool, update webhook, done. Not spending, a day back and forth via tickets, DMs, whatever, putting them out of their headspace of running their agency. You guys take care of that, but that's a massive undertaking. That's a massive part of support as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to add something in there too with one of the SaaS businesses that I'm involved in where we use Growthable. Our escalations actually went down dramatically in support tickets when we moved over to Growthable, because the team will just find solutions or come to us with proposed solutions rather than us having to think about it. And sometimes it's obvious, sometimes it's not. And so just the extra work that goes into that has been massive in terms of freeing up time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like having that and giving that to your client, saying, yep, cool. Like the confidence you can have as an agency owner, just go, yeah, cool. So this is our plan. By the way, you've got 24/7 chat there. Just go there if you've got a problem. Like there. Don't DM me, go there.
Yeah. I
Like,
think
that's amazing.
honestly, I think honestly, sitting on this side of it, it can't be understated just how difficult it is to do 24/7, right? Even the most, strongly viewed people that I've run into in my time that think, oh, you just hire a bunch of people and get them to do that, right? Like, I'll get some VAs in the Philippines to do that, right? They're also humans that have lives. And oh boy, did their lives get in the way, right? Like, things happen, right? Like, we just had a typhoon the other day that affected one of our guys that got flooded because he was at the top end of the Philippines near Taiwan, and there was a typhoon, and so he couldn't come to work. And like, there's all this stuff that goes on with actually, and so, but like, we commit to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what. And so it's a big deal, right? It just happens to be really boring. So it's not cool and sexy, and you're not going to launch an ad in 3 seconds without going into Facebook or whatever. Or as sexy as reducing your Twilio fees, by the way. But it's one of those things. Like it's so hard to do, but we make it. It's one of those things where it's so hard to do, but like all of the complexity, you don't see any of it, right? You just click the bubble, and there's someone there in 2 minutes or less.
Yeah.
And so someone's there in 2 minutes or less, and and what's an interesting statistic is that the average support conversation is 28 minutes long. So it's like even just the first conversation that we have with someone is half an hour on average, right? Sometimes these go for hours, right? And they will just sit there until it's resolved. Like they don't go, you've got 5 minutes to tell me a problem, go, right? Like they just will sit there until the issue is resolved, because we want to try and solve the issue. We don't want a ticket factory. We don't want all of our agencies just having this queue of tickets that needs to be resolved by another team, and therefore we have to pay, a whole separate labor force to resolve what should have been resolved in the first thing, right? So the whole kind of culture and ethos about like what is a live chat thing is like it's the first line of defense, as you say, Gary, and the amount of time that we save agency owners, it's measurable, which is great, right? Like we have some clients that are like, hey, we were thinking of leaving because we don't know if we're ever using you or not. We just go, here's some data and analytics, right? We saved you 4.5 hours in your first week, and then 10 hours every week after that. And here's all the tickets, and a ticket takes, on average about an hour and a half of someone's time to get to resolution. And so we could easily just pull out like, here's all the hours that you didn't spend, talking to your clients, right? Which you otherwise would have. And we see that a lot with like our AI, for instance. So we just introduced AI. We've had AI for a little while, in that it's been contained within each client. Now we're rolling out AI, and we're actually going to give this away for free. It hasn't been officially announced, but the reason we're going to give it away for free to first 100 agencies is we want to train the thing, right? So we want to get like another 100,000 end users like asking questions about like, how do I do this? What's the fix to this, and blah 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 blah. And we're always going to be sitting there giving it feedback, like, did we answer the question correctly, this and that and the other. And it's interesting, like when we first figured out that we could use like long language models like ChatGPT or whatever to train an AI tool to answer queries in the first instance, we were like, yeah, cool, like put this in like the little widget and just see if people use it, right? And agency owner will come back and be like, do people use the AI? Like, I know, we're on a certain plan that has that, right? And like, do we use it or whatever? And you're like, oh, we don't know. Like, we don't look at the logs because we're not here to train it for you, because you have to train it yourself because it's a white labeled AI on that one. Anyway, getting into details, but so, and then we go back and look at the logs, and like people are asking questions of the AI like all day long, right? And it's like fascinating that like people are already kind of accustomed to answering like a ChatGPT style AI questions, but they hate the bot. Like, so the bot that says, what do you want? Billing, sales, or support? Press 1, right? Like everybody hates that. That is a terrible experience. But an AI that can actually just respond with like, how you going, Gary? Oh, are you good? Yeah. Did the Pies win on the weekend or whatever? Right?
Was there anyone in America watching? I have no idea what you're talking about. The Pies? What? The things yeah.
So, but like, so people are willing and able, right, to interact with an AI that acts like that. So that's kind of the next innovation is like, we're going to give one away so that it gets really good, because we want a critical mass of people to use it. And we're going to use our expert people to then go back and look at all the queries and like thumb up, thumb down, feedback it over, hundreds of thousands of use cases and questions and whatnot, and try and get it to be the best AI support sort of bot going around, essentially.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, because they are interesting to train, because we've got one on our myCRM.
Drunk lady or something.
Sorry?
You have a drunk auntie or something, and you describe
it?
Yeah,
like? Drunken Alison. Like, my goodness, she was on the vodkas for a while, but we think we've
yeah.
we think we've watered her down now.
Yeah.
She was a little bit off. But yeah, definitely training them is a prompting. Like if anyone's doing chatbots, and we've got something coming on that soon. I think we had a little post, a little sneak preview of that today. But prompting is like, that's going to be one of the future industries, basically, being good at prompting. Because you can write a good prompt for something, you can churn something out amazing. You write a bad prompt and you get something not good, like a drunken Allison, like we had for a little while.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to train all that. So yeah, it's pretty cool what you do, the way that you do it. And you also, like, when I was listening to your podcast, the 10,000 hours,
Yeah.
what you've learned from 10,000 hours of onboarding. I think
Yeah.
it's important for, like, we have to remember as agency owners that, like, we're pretty technical, right? The high level platform is an absolute monster, right? In is that there's just so much to it. Like, it's very difficult to know inside out. So for us, it can be challenging. And then you take a non-technical client and then give them this monster. And it's like, okay, how are they going to deal with that, right? And they need people that they can talk to. Like, that's why it's not surprising. I didn't know that stat. You just said that, I think you said 28 minutes for that first conversation. I'm so not surprised by that, because for them just to explain what it is they're trying to do as a non-technical person, I mean, I am sure you've seen some amazing conversations with people, and I listened to some of the examples you had of people that were turning up for onboardings and they're on a mobile phone, on a train, because they're not thinking about that. Like, the non-technical people that we support as agencies, they're generally just like, yeah, I need a landing page. Can you build me one? You go, okay. Well, what do you want it to be on there? Or, I want an automation. I want to be able to do ABC. Okay. And you need more detail. And there's a whole bunch of steps and things that they haven't even considered along that path to getting their result that we have to go down as agency owners to help them with. Or your support person who's on the live chat has to go down and say, okay, which button were you clicking on? You said you've clicked a button, but it didn't work. What area are you in? And so it's a real balancing act to do that with people that don't understand the technicalities that they're actually working with.
It is. I'm just reading what Emily's sharing screen. By turning the laptop around, I've had someone do something similar to that. But Emily's saying that she had someone share their screen by turning their laptop screen around to their main screen. I love it. Yeah, that's a good one. I've had people do that. In fact, I've had an onboarding person join our company, and he wasn't sort of confident at the time to sort of tell the user, like, you've got to come back when you've figured out how to share your screen. And so he got his mobile phone and was putting the camera and like panning through the screen like this. And the guy sat there the whole hour and did the onboarding call. And I was like, you don't have to ever do that again. Like, that's not part of what we have to do. Yeah, onboarding is a completely separate thing, right? And onboarding is like for me, it's a pretty broad term to describe what happens after the sale is made. So I advocate for a bow tie model in revenue operations. I think we're all nerds here, like in terms of agencies and revenues and business, and so I don't have to worry about the lingo, right? But like in terms of the revenue operations, it's not a funnel, it's a bow tie. Once you've made the sale, it's your customer journey begins again, right? Because there's now I've signed up and I've put my credit card behind the paywall, right? And I've got access to it, right? So it's like, now what? So you've sold me the dream, now show me the dream, right? And so, building out a customer success function that can deliver on the promise that sales made is the challenge, right? And then, agencies, you'll often find that the salesperson who's promising the world is also the implementation person. And those two things, they're not you'd be rare to find like a visionary mindset with an integrator mindset, right? That's why they write books on having the pairing of an integrator and a visionary to work well together. It's like, cool, now I've done the sale, like I need to go and spend hours like connecting workflows and applying custom values to make a snapshot work and connect a domain and manipulate DNS. Like, you're not doing that if you've started a company and like you're a visionary and you're going on to try and sell, more and more of your stuff, right? Which should be your role is like the chief sales officer if you're like a solopreneur or whatever. It's like, get the next sale, right? So you need to balance that with, you can deliver on what you promised and consistently. Like, you don't just do 1 hour of, like, yeah, here's some stuff that I prepared earlier. Now, good luck. Go and watch all the training videos. Like, they need someone there, right? And like the best example I can use to compare how difficult it is to support, again, is like, so Salesforce.com is a pretty big company, right? You could argue that if you're a Salesforce expert, right, you'd be able to walk into any enterprise, right, and like someone comes up to you and goes like, "Hey, I heard you're a Salesforce guy. Like, can you help me with this?" And they could go into Salesforce and be completely lost and go, "I know this is Salesforce, right, but I've got no idea what you're doing, right? I don't understand why this object is designed the way that it is and why this workflow does this or whatever." And they'll go, "Oh, because at PwC we do blah 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 or this and the other, and we're really unique and that we do it like this." Right? And I'm using PwC as a reference because of the whole tax scandal thing. But anyway, so that's high level, right? And that like you can have high level, right? And you can have a high level expert, but it doesn't mean that they understand what the hell is going on in the high level instance, right? Because people like Jackson Chen and Gary, right? No, I'm joking. I'm not throwing you under the bus here.
Pro Jackson, not me.
Like Jackson Chen's, for instance, like I'm not talking out of school by talking about him, but like he's built
He's got some awesome stuff.
Thing, right? Like you don't recognize it. You don't recognize it. So the ability for us to support it is quite actually it's under a thin layer of like we don't actually know what you've done here, right? But he has been a customer for a very long time because it's that first layer of like, oh yeah, you've got workflows, you've got this or whatever, and so you're going to get both of those types of agencies where they're so custom, it's unrecognizable and therefore unsupportable to a degree. And then you've got the guys who are pretty generic, right? But the end user itself is always pretty basic, right? It's, you're never going to get an agency related question for an end user in a sub account because they don't have agency permissions, right? And so we know that the skill set of our users just needs to remain end user focused. Coming back to the onboarding, Garrick, I know you mentioned that, right? It's like onboarding itself, it's like we chop it up into different sort of types of approaches. Like you can have a technical approach versus an educational approach. And again, like depending on what you've done, most of the time, you still need all the technical stuff done, right? So you talk about the specifics. It's like the PricewaterhouseCoopers guy saying that you don't know how Salesforce.com works. Yeah, great. That's for you guys to do, or you're going to hire internally to be able to sort of, speak to that. But everybody needs, a domain connected, and everybody needs an email service to work, and everybody needs a landing page, and everybody needs a calendar system, and everybody needs, an A2P 10 DLC submission, and blah, 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 blah. And so that's the bulk of what we're doing.
Not anymore, mate. Not anymore.
Right, of course. Yeah. Well, nobody needs that. Yeah. Sorry,
nobody needs that.
So nobody needs that, but actually that's what we're going to talk about later, isn't it? Because now
we better get to that in a second because we've got two more things that we do need to talk about. Right?
But I mean, like, so what you're doing there is like, so it's a good segue, right? It's like, where we can improve that and save time, and the best outcomes for everybody is like something like what you've done, Gary, with myCRMSIM, which is removing that friction, because the time to impact for an American user, and I'll just talk about American users because it's more relevant, is that they used to be able to just click their fingers essentially and have a phone number up and running 3 seconds after they got a new account, and they're off sending SMSs and doing all this amazing stuff, right? And in Australia, we've always had to wait a little while.
Yep.
To get a number. And so that's massively impacted the impact, the emotional impact, and the functional impact that an end user can experience, right? And so if you've never spoken about it in this way, Gary, you might want to take my advice a little bit and like pitch it in that like the time to impact is massively reduced, right? And so it's the adoption of the features and the functionality set that a lot of these agencies are selling is like, if you can't get them a phone number because you have to wait 2 weeks from the TRO or whatever they call it, you get a rejection, and then you have to go back and you have to do it again. And I know I can see that this happens on our side quite a bit. Do you think the user's having a good time knowing like they're like, oh, I didn't provide the right EIN documentation and I misspelled the name by one letter and therefore I've got another 2 week wait and all that sort of stuff? And so talking about customer success and like that lead time to when they're actually making positive impact on their business by using the feature sets, like massively reduced and improved through services like yours. So, well done on bringing something like the market, because we get to help people with it. which means their users are happy, which means they keep paying their bills, which means everybody's happy. So
Yeah, so which brings us to that. So I want to talk on this quickly because we said we were going to announce this on here. So we're formalizing this at the moment. We've had conversations around it. So Growthable are going to become a support partner for myCRMSIM. So the way that I always set up myCRMSIM was that we've got over 100 agencies using our platform, and then I don't even know actually how many users there are in total, but we always set it up so that we support the agency, we don't support the end user, because I knew that that would be too much for us to handle. We would never be able to do that. Now, we've got pretty good support systems in place. We've got great onboarding, setup, documentation, and knowledge base. We have great stuff in place. So we support the agency, but if they get questions from their user or they have an issue, well, they have to go back to their agency and say, oh, hey, I'm having this problem. And if they can't fix it, they have to come back to us, which doesn't happen that often. And normally it's a pretty simple thing where something didn't get ticked or whatever. But that means we have to train and educate our agencies that are using our platform. So what Growthable are going to start to do for us, and we're going to finalize this and make sure we train all your guys, is that you will offer like first tier support to the client. So if you're a Growthable client, then you will have support for myCRMSIM for your clients to be able to do that first 28-minute conversation, basically. So your clients can then come in and go, oh, hey, I'm trying to do this with my SIM SMS system and I can't seem to do this, or whatever they might be able to do. And then Growthable, we're able to take that conversation and then they can come back to the agency if they can't fix it, if it's not a tick and you just need to reset something, and take on that support, and again free up agency owners that are using our system and using Growthable to again take yourself up another tier, basically. So we're pretty excited about how that's going to work with you guys. There's a couple of things that we've got to sort of formalize and put in place, which is obviously we've got to finish training your team so that they understand. It's effectively tier one support, like the troubleshooting to go through. Okay, you're not going to have access to the back end. Same as with high level. There's certain areas that you can get to, certain areas that you can't. Right. And then we'll have a document that we'll put together as well that because you have your own knowledge base, and we did touch on that very briefly, but you've got like your own custom knowledge base, and you can drop articles into that for particular users. So you can say, okay, you can have an article on this, or whatever it might be. So we'll put a knowledge base article together so that if an agency has got a client using our system, you could put our article into the knowledge base for their clients, again, to give them that first level of support before they even have to come and talk to chat. So how to set up a database reactivation, some simple stuff like that to help support them. So that's what we wanted to announce on here, like a sort of formal partnership between myCRMSIM and Growthable, which I think is going to be amazing.
Yeah. So, that's it. Yeah. Like there's heaps of stuff that I haven't even talked to you about that we can do, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So for instance, like we have the ability to do like guided tour overlays. So, we'll be able to, when someone's first setting it up, we'll be able to like run, like click here next, and be able to guide people through certain setup of it. We'll be able to overlay video, which could be someone like Carlos talking over, saying like, hey, you're about to set this up, great, blah, 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 2 thumbs up or whatever, right? And yeah, having access to an FAQ, having access to then support, who then will realize, oh, this is a conversation provider that I officially support, so I can try and go and troubleshoot it, right? Because we do have conversation providers that we don't support, and they're sort of unofficial or not in the App Store, like Marketplace, whatever it's called. I think it's called the Marketplace.
The Marketplace, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the idea would be that if by going into this type of official partnership with you, is like we actually get way more training than the average person, from you and your team, Gary. And so we know, like, here's like the 5 or 10 things that we can check. And if we still come to a solution, an outcome where I guess like we haven't figured it out, or there's some sort of issue in the back end, or blah 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 blah, you're still organized and being fed up through an escalation system. But more often than not, it should be. I mean, I'm a customer of myCRM. Like I've used it. It does break. Like it just, once you've set it up, it just works, right? And there's maybe an
Yeah,
error
yeah.
code because of some random reason, and it's like once you know what the error codes mean, you can work towards the solution for each one of them or whatever. But yeah, we do that for companies like Upex, most recently Play, and now you be the excitingly, is that the word? Sort of the next, like
We'll
you,
go with that.
we call it like ubiquitous plugins, right? Where
Yeah,
if most of the agencies we're going to talk to are going to have a solution like this, because everyone should probably have a myCRMSIM option, right? Then it makes sense for us to just say yes, we do support that, rather than no, that's a third party. We have no idea what you're talking about.
yeah. And it's great for us because, like, we can talk to our agencies and say, hey, look, if you're looking for support, which, like, I would recommend anybody uses Growthable. You've got an agency, you should be using a third-party system to, just take those first conversations, even if it's just level one. It, removes a certain level for you and just gives you massive security with your clients. And like, how much does a client like it when you come on board and you go, yeah, cool. And if you've got an issue, go there. You've got 24/7 support. You don't have to worry about that. But for us to be able to say to our agencies that use us, yeah, cool, yep, use Growthable, and then you've got support for your clients as well. So we'll support you, your clients are supported, and we've got a good crossover there. So I think that's awesome. When we get that sort of formalized and we'll put in the training, we'll do something. We'll come back and we'll put a little thing out for everybody as well to show them what we're actually going to have in the back end, and then we can do a little tour, I guess, of the knowledge base and what people will actually be able to have for their clients as well, which I think would be really exciting.
Yeah.
And then smooth segue from all of that, support, what Growthable is about, what you do, supporting us, super smooth segue into what's happening in September. Ryan, tell us.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do a nice little handoff to Emily in a minute, but yeah, September 5th and 6th. We're really excited to be able to have the first in-person event for high-level agency owners, marketing, digital marketing, etc. Professionals to come and attend and meet everybody and hang out with us for 2 days. It's the Fishburners, I think they call it the accelerator or whatever, the startup incubator.
Accelerator Hub or something. Yeah,
Accelerator hub.
it's cool. Yeah, cool spot.
It's on York Street in Sydney, right above the Wynyard train station. So it's massively accessible. It's an awesome space. I'm super, super, super excited to meet all of you guys on this call and so many other people that I speak to digitally on Zoom for years and years and years in person. But, we're trying to make it so that it's, my pitch of this, and I'll let Emily go through it in a minute, but like my pitch of this is that we spoke about what we would do if we did an in-person event, and me and Emily both agreed that there's enough kind of being pitched at that goes on year round, and sort of even like I've been to both Emily and I've been to the Dallas Summit as well, and there is a level of like people with big audiences do most of the speaking there. Like Frank Kern gets up, and it's like not a lot of us can relate to Frank Kern. You know what I mean? Like we'd have 10 million people on an email list or a YouTube channel of a billion subscribers that we can kind of throw off as that and get instant results. Like you spoke about it at the start of the call, Gary. Like everyone's here to, you generally sort of speak bootstrapping and grinding every day. And so that's the type of people that we thought we would invite to come and speak. It's like, Aussie, Kiwi, have grinded it out, have, achieved success through their own, grit and determination and skills. And so, those are the people that we're excited, to hear about first and foremost. And then, serendipitously, we've got a whole bunch of, new fresh faces as well. So, I'm super excited to be there. And Growthable's one of the key sponsors to try and kind of give it that push that it needed to make it happen in the first place. So, happy to be part of it in that capacity. And yeah, Emily, I'll let you jump into your spiel, but yeah, I'm super excited, that's for sure.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very, very excited as well because we've got some amazing things planned. And like you say, we really want it to be super educational, but also about networking, because I'm sure most of us have been to plenty of events, and some of the best relationships come out of those hallway conversations. Or for Ryan and I at Dallas, it was actually at the airport when we were leaving is when we met. So we really just want to foster that community, because everyone in the high level space, are awesome people. There's a great community, but we just really want to foster that more on this side of the world as well. So it kind of made sense to have it in Sydney because it's fairly accessible for us coming over from New Zealand as well. And yeah, we're super excited. We are very, very happy to have the high level founders zooming in for a live call. Couldn't quite convince them to get on a plane, but the plan is to make that happen next year. We just need to show them what we've got down under, and they'll be hopefully coming over for that. Plus, we're going to do a live raffle with Wesley from High Level and have Chase Buckner speak as well. And I'm sure we've all seen plenty of videos with Chase. So he'll be doing
a Tesla in the raffle? We're always looking for Teslas if it's from High Level, right?
Well, not a Tesla, but it will be, I can tell you, it will be Apple AirPods Max. So that's still a pretty cool prize. But
cool.
Maybe next year we'll try for the Tesla.
Yeah, the Cybertruck. He wants a Cybertruck.
No.
There was a Tesla in one of the raffles. One of the exhibitors was giving away, and I forgot to go in the raffle. And I know the person that won the Tesla.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I know it was. Yeah, that was a real thing at the summer last year. So I'm not sure what they'll do this year, but Gary, you can go in that drawer when you get over, and
Mate,
you might come home with the Tesla.
I'm in that. I'll be getting plenty of tickets.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to show us? I think you had some.
I do. I think you might need
to share the screen.
Let me share my screen, and just make sure I'm sharing sound too.
If you share, does it ask me to do something? Sorry, it's not.
Hang on, give me 2 seconds. When you're trying to present something from Canva at the same time, it doesn't like it.
It says all participants can share, so I think you should be able to.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, perfect.
So, can you see everything now?
Yeah, there we go.
So as Ryan said, 5th and 6th of September, and we also have a super amazing MC. I'm sure quite a few of you I know Sarah Cordiner really well. She's done amazingly fantastic things with her company Techmatics, and I help her in that side of things as well. So she has some really good experience of how she's built her company to where it is today that everyone can learn from. And so I've got a wee video.
High-level users, we have an event coming up that you are absolutely not going to want to miss. The Agency Ignite event on the 5th and 6th of September in Sydney is going to be your secret recipe to success if you are an agency owner, if you are a SaaSpreneur, if you're an aspiring agency or SaaSpreneur owner, or maybe you just want to learn how to use tech to run your own business more efficiently. The High Level platform has been put together for businesses of all sizes in all industries to provide amazing tech solutions, not just for themselves, but for their customers as well. And inside the Agency Ignite event, you are going to see and sit with and speak with and network with some of the world's most successful agency owners and SaaSpreneurs out there. They're going to be spilling all of their secrets on how they created their agency or SaaS businesses, how they automate those, and how they've made them massively profitable so that you can too. I'm one of the speakers. My name's Sarah Cordiner, and I'm going to be teaching you how to scale your SaaS business to 7 figures within 12 months. Now, these are not promised results. These are the strategies that I personally used to get that result for me. If you'd like some of those secrets and many others from top SaaSpreneurs, tech providers, and agencies from around the world, you are going to want to come and join us at Agency Ignite in September in Sydney. See you there.
Very nice.
Awesome. And for those who have seen Sarah speak, she's just a real powerhouse. So she'll bring a lot of energy to it as well. So she'll be, as I said, the MC, but also doing speaking and being on some of the panels as well. So we're very grateful for her support. And we've already spoken a little bit about Fishburners, but it does have some cool things like a bar. So we'll have a networking.
Ryan will be there on a stool.
Yes. Yeah. And so we'll have a networking party on the end of the first day as well. So there is that social time to get to know each other a bit more, because that's a huge part of it. But it is just really an amazing space. That's not a very clear picture there, but they have a really cool 3D walkthrough on their website. So we've got the whole space up here for this event, because we also have some amazing sponsors like myCRMSIM. So thank you, Gary, for your support. So there'll be an area for sponsors, and we're going to do some fun things with that as well. As I mentioned about founders and the Apple AirPods Max too, so we can go in the draw for that. Sarah as well, and a little bit of an idea of the agenda. So the first day is the biggest day. We will start off with that, welcome, the live raffle, the opening, a lot of morning sessions. We'll have super educational ones and then lighter ones in the afternoon, because I'm sure you've been to many conferences and events where sometimes in the afternoon it's a lot of information that's come into your brain. So we want to keep that lighter with some workshop sessions and panel discussions as well, and then the networking event. And for those who have a VIP ticket, which we're almost sold out of, there's the VIP party that evening as well. And then the next day is similar. We'll have Chase kicking us off. Obviously, we need the US friendly time zones in the start of the day. We'll also got some really fun things that we're planning. Actually, Ryan doesn't even know about these yet, that I've been working on behind the scenes to make sure that everyone's having a lot of fun. And the speakers so far, we've got a few more that we're coming out and announcing in the next week or so. We're in the final stage of discussions with quite a few more people, but we also have Ben and David from Max My Profit, because obviously some things that as business owners we need to work on even more is profit, because we can do the grind and the hard work, but you want to make sure at the end of it you've got money going back into your business and also for yourself and your families as well. So we do want to spend a bit of time on the financial side of running a business.
Michael Dooley's a speaker too, by the way, Emily. I don't know if
yes.
If anybody's familiar with Michael Dooley, he has an unbelievably successful SaaS, and his story is so cool. He was working in an auto dealership. He took a photo of himself quitting, and he's just like ground it and forced it into existence. And he's such a nice guy with an amazing family and story. So yeah, I can't wait to hear his session as well. So I'd be pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, it's really excited to announce all the rest of the speakers. The also exciting is swag. I came back from Dallas with some pretty awesome swag, but we are going to have some exclusive high-level swag that's only going to be available in Australia, because, let's face it, it's hard for them to ship it over to Australia, right? So it will be ordered locally. So there'll be some Australian-themed swag.
Limited edition.
Oh, yeah.
LTDs. Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be a lot of fun. And the tickets include all the food and everything, access to everything. You'll get recordings afterwards. So it's fairly good value. Obviously, events take a lot to put on in terms of effort and capital. So we've tried to make them as affordable as possible. And we just Ryan added a pay in 4 option as well, which is super helpful. But yes, it covers all of your food and of course drinks at the networking party, and the VIP upgrade is a little bit separate to that. And sponsors, as mentioned, obviously Growthable, High Level. Huge thank you, Gary, for being one of our sponsors as well. And then the High Level Freaks have just recently come on as a sponsor, and we've got another one to be announced this week and a couple more in the final stages. So it will be great to announce those as well, but we just couldn't do this without the support of our sponsors. So thank you. And website is go.agencyignite.com.au.
Yeah, cool.
We'll make sure we'll put the link in the comments with this after this is finished and stuff. So if anyone's looking for that link, look somewhere in the comments wherever you're looking at this video. We'll make sure that it's there as well, or obviously you can type that in. So yeah, very, very cool.
4 weeks out now, I think, something like that, right? It's not that far away now. It's kind of crept up. If you go pay in 4 on using PayPal, it's like $100 a week or whatever for the next 4 weeks. And then you can be all hanging out with us in Sydney and York Street. So
I think I just got the first draft of our design for our stand done yesterday.
Oh,
banner and stuff. 4 weeks to get that finished and printed. So
nice.
but I think it's going to be so good, because I think you know, like we in Australia, we have a if anyone's in Australia and not a part of the group, we have a Go High Level Australia mastermind group that meet every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, which is really cool. I've been part of that for since Stephen 10 started it, and then he started doing Zooms every Wednesday. I can't remember when, it was a while ago. But it's been amazing to sort of meet so many people on there. I've made some really good connections. I know so many people that, you know, and they help me too as well. You know, like I have questions. I've been so lucky. Like there was something I asked Michael Dooley, who you mentioned earlier. Like I had a question about Stripe, and he'd mentioned it, something that he was doing on one of our JHL Australia calls, and I just messaged him. And you know, he got back to me and was like, "Yeah, cool. If you do this, this is what we do, and this is how we manage it in our agency." So we've got a really good network of people there that we're all trying to support each other as well, just with, you know, just general questions. You know, every day's a new day, right? Every day's a school day. So I think it'd be really cool to actually get together and just meet some of these people in person and just go, "Oh, cool. That's, you know, we're all real people at the end of the day, not just you know, avatars on a screen."
Yeah. And it'd be really good
Exactly.
to connect with people that are in our own time zone, in our own region, who are facing regional challenges, because we all face them, right? We all pay the same. Well, Emily doesn't pay the same as us, but we all pay the same rate of GST and all this sort of, the accounting rules and everything's all the same. And so someone's done it before, right? You just got to run into them and talk to them about how they've managed to go through it all. And like, yeah, like Heidi's saying, like always dealing with the US, it's like we got to get to the point where there's enough of a critical mass of people here in Australia where we have our own community and we don't need to rely on all these Americans to help us out. Not that we don't love the Americans, but it's just we don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. As Heidi's just so
And it's different too. Like it's a different market, you know. If you're
Yeah.
working here, like clients here that you talk to, they don't respond to marketing in the same way as they do in America. Like they're very, very different. So yeah, there's different approaches that we need here that don't necessarily work the same as they get taught or shared in America. You know, what's working over there, a lot of it does work, but you need to take the edge off a little bit into the way that you actually plan and plan and execute them over here. So it's really good to have those people, you know, having people like Michael, Sarah, all the other people that will be there as well, who've gone through and done those things, would be very, very cool.
Yeah. And it's not to say that that everybody operates in Australia, right? Like it's you know, even, you know, someone like Michael, you know, they've gone international and they've been successful. And so, you know, that is a skill in and of itself, right? It's like, how did you take this thing from the Australian market and make it an international success? You know, just by doing that, he's got so much knowledge on how to make that.
He doesn't sleep.
Happen.
That's what he did.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't seem to. I mean, yeah, he's got a great model. I mean, the guy really over-invests in his sales team. You know, blows my mind how much he compensates those people in his business. And yeah, I mean, just so much to learn from him about how he goes about it. So very smart guy. Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we've got a couple of minutes left. I meant to actually throw for questions to you, Ryan, when we were talking about the onboarding and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We've got a couple of minutes left. Did anyone have any questions for Ryan while we're here? We'll put links to Growthable and where to find all these things in the chat. But any questions that you guys wanted to throw out while we're here? Give Ryan something hard to answer, or just ask him his funniest story from an onboarding ever.
So Heidi's just put one in the chat.
So I'm struggling with keeping my clients up to date with the changes, creating a video off the back of the release radar. It's so much agency based and I don't get time to bring that in for my clients.
So that's an interesting one, Heidi. So we automatically add anything that appears in the change log for high level into the knowledge base through the RSS feed. So the RSS feed gets picked up. We see that there's a new feature. We say, is it agency related? If it is, it can't go into the knowledge base because your end users can't access agency related information. If it's not, it goes into the end user knowledge base and it's there instantly. So there is a way to do that so that you can basically give it out as fast as possible. Now, actually, we've had this experience with yourself, Gary, and Carlos, actually, which was, how do we get that information in a similar way? And I tried to use Canny myself. So you could essentially go and set up Canny connects to the RSS feed, which is high levels RSS feed, and just have something in the middle go, is this agency or not? And then have your own canny, but it clashes with the code base that high level uses. So you can't use canny, but if there's a canny competitor that you know of that does the same thing, you could have your own changelog in your own agency. But we just didn't have the resources to go investigate alternatives to canny. But we do publish that information into your knowledge base immediately.
Yeah, so we do that now. We don't have a one for clients. We just have one that goes straight to. We use a Click, which is basically Slack made by Zoho, and we have a Click channel, and all the updates just get pushed into that. So every day I just see updates in the Click channel, and I just do the cliff notes on that. But high level have that now anyway in their back end, don't they? So they have an updates which is for clients as well anyway.
Yeah, so you can get updates through like their lead connector. They have a lead connector knowledge base, right? It's probably about it's like 10% of all the actual articles. Because like I have someone on my staff, like they just write how-to articles like 3 or 4 times a day. You wouldn't believe how many knowledge base articles have been written in help.gohighlevel.com. Like ridiculous amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like the lead connector knowledge base is great, but it's limited at the moment. I think they're trying to catch up because I know that they get bashed for not being able to provide like accurate documentation.
They're moving so fast in development. Even if you go back into the agency help desk, you go back in there and you look at a video and they're talking through something, and they're going click here, and you're like, I do not have that.
Yeah,
that's really different.
Yeah, like, I think that the age of putting screenshots in, particularly for them, like putting screenshots into their how-to kind of articles, like knowledge base articles, like, you know, every 3 months they would have to be reviewed and checked and updated because no user interface for them is the same, you know. So yeah, it's a huge challenge, but it also creates a reason for me to exist. So, you know, also happy about that. So.
It does, but then there's that layer as well, because high level's model is sort of like what we do at myCRMSIM. It's like, well, we'll support the agencies, but we don't support the clients. And high level are like that too. They go, well, we'll support the agencies, but we don't necessarily support the end user, the client. So there's Growthable. So do we have any other questions or? No, I think we're good. So if we don't have any other questions, we'll wrap that up. We'll put the links, so go find Growthable, all your white label support needs. We'll be supporting myCRMSIM. We'll put a proper announcement on our Facebook group and email all our customers when that's actually happening. And also Agency Ignite. We'll pop the link for that. So go.agencyignite.com.au. Come along and just meet everybody.
Are you going to be telling people to bring an Android device along so that we can get them up and running at your booth? Are you going to be doing something like that?
Maybe we'll have a special deal at the booth.
That would be good.
I don't know. I'm
excited about that because I need some more sims. I need to roll out some more sims. So I'll talk to you about that offline. But yeah. So.
Oh, cool. Well, maybe we'll have a special deal if you sign up at the booth at the Agency Ignite. You'll get an Android phone thrown in. Just maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Love it.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I've got it written down as an idea on here, but I think that's what we're going to do, because that way we can get people up and running. Carlos is going to be on live Zoom from Costa Rica.
Nice.
Like you can set people up and go, there you go. There's your phone. We'll turn it on. Get you plugged in. There you go.
Cool. I love it.
All right. Perfect, guys. Look, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everybody. Heidi.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Gary.